I'll give you the wet food. Hmm? Hey everyone, good evening. Just waiting while Bubble is annoying me. Just waiting for Mr. Ram Niranjan. What's up, Bobby? What's up, Pattu? Hi, Ashwati. Hi, Devjit. Thank you, Mr. Kalwar. Alright, just waiting to get Mr. Just wait to join me for today's discussion. Hey Ram, why are you in your car? You need to be home.
Because the home is very loud at the moment with the newborn in, so I found it's a better environment
So
to be in
you
the
have
car.
one baby disturbing you while I have 5 babies who are bugging me.
Yeah. So
Right.
how are you, sir?
Very good, Ram. We will not be
Good.
referring to each other as sir or anything. We will just be referring to each other as Dr. Ram and Arun for today. Okay, so tell me, how do we
Yeah.
go ahead? So I shot you a few questions which I have been getting, with respect to this whole coronavirus thing.
Okay.
So how I wanted you to, first of all, I think start today's discussion by kind of making people understand how important it is for us to maintain social distancing, especially
Yeah.
for the gym goers, because a lot of guys who are going to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
they're just not able to understand, why is it that they need to stay away from the gym and just in general maintain distance from outsiders.
Yeah, I understand. Like, because leaving the gym for all of a sudden is going to be very tough for most of the guys who are regular gym goers. The main issue here is that because coronavirus is it's a virus that is already existing. It has just mutated itself in a way that it can't be controlled by any vaccine at the moment. So that is the most important aspect of corona, and that's why it's very dangerous at the moment. So the main transmission mode of corona is not through air, because like people say that like even if you're near and if you start like inhaling the air which the other person like breathes out, that's you get corona. That's not the case. The main transmission is aerosol. Aerosol is where if someone coughs on your face or if someone coughs on a gym equipment and then you go touch it, like you can land up. So you can land up with corona. So that's the thing. The social distancing is a very important aspect because like we are not very sure of how many microbes we are touching every day on a day-to-day life. And at the same time, corona, like with the mutated virus, like it's under like we don't have any immunity built up for it. Usually, we as Indians are blessed with a good amount of immunity, so that we can prevent most of the diseases. But this is something very new for us. So, like we can't combat it in the same way as we do typhoid or jaundice or even like a H1N1. Like we handled it very beautifully, but corona is something apart from that. So social distancing is the only thing which we can do. And considering the structure of coronavirus, it has a very weak lipid bond in it. So washing your hand helps to break that lipid bond. Whereas people say that sanitizers work. Sanitizers unfortunately don't work. You need alcohol. You need at least 60% alcohol content soap or a soap liquid, and you need a good 20 seconds to break that lipid bond. Like if you just imagine, okay, I use hand sanitizers and I can prevent coronavirus. No, it's like I'm very sorry, it's not going to work. You need to wash it at least for 20 seconds, a good 20 seconds, and make sure that you do it at least every 1 hour. So So it will prevent, And regarding the people who are going to, who feel that training is more important at this time of, at this crisis, like we should say that living a healthy life and being alive is much more important than training and the gains which you are going to attain, because we can get back most of the things. And that coming from a person like me, because I have experienced a lot of personal health issues throughout the past 3 years, and getting to it, I know the value of things about life, and I've seen and being a doctor, I've seen a lot of personal losses and professional losses too. And that's something which there are bigger things to be worried about in this moment. Because be safe, because you're not just risking yourself, you're risking your whole family into it. You train the gym, you carry a microbe. Okay, you are lucky. You don't get infected by it. You go to your 60-year-old mother or 80-year-old grandmother. You land up the infections, and they are they might be so immunocompromised that something very something unexpected can happen to them. So please don't do that, because you can't, you don't know what is bad.
No, I think most importantly, the other day when we had this chat, I think about maybe a week or so ago, when you gave me this very beautiful understanding of how our immunity is really compromised right after training.
Right after training.
That is when our body is the most susceptible to catching this virus and also falling sick very quickly. So I think that was one bit which alarmed me to quite an extent, and made me realize, okay, I really need to stay away from the gym.
Because when you're training, your body goes into a sympathetic state. Sympathetic state is a flight and fright state. When I push you off a cliff, your body is in a sympathetic state, and it wants to fight that situation, and it wants to get out. So that's the same way the training puts a stress on it, because when you're training, your lactic acid, your muscles contract, it works, and it produces a lot of lactic acid. So your pH goes from alkaline to acidic. And once your pH is acidic, like your body goes into a sympathetic system to bring it down back to normal hemostasis. At that period, the post-workout period is a good 2 hours. Your immunity is nearly zero. And in this situation, if imagine your immunity is going to be zero, you don't want that. You don't want that, because even on a good day, you don't want that. Definitely, you don't want that in this part of time, because you can combat it with right nutrition, rest, and everything. But imagine only 99% of the trainees who are training at the gym don't have any idea about a good nutrition, a post-workout routine where they can follow something. That's a sorrowful state of how most of our trainees are, and we need to work on that, because the post-workout nutrition is something very important, and post-workout recovery is very important. You want to shift your body from sympathetic state to parasympathetic state, and at this time, we don't want to train at all. And I'm not asking you to train at all. You can train, but not to an extent where you're going to push your heart rate above 100. To keep your heart rate above 100, you can't do below 100. You can't do a lot of things. You can just walk around. That's the maximum you can do.
No, I think a very simple example that I have experienced so many times when I have done training, that, for example, I would have trained and I'm just driving back from the gym, and the air conditioning in the car is on, and the air directly hits me, and I'm full of sweat. And just a little bit of that sweat, if I allow it to dry on me while the air hits me, by the time I'm reaching home, I'm already sneezing. So you catch a cold that quickly. So that's just a simple cold that you're catching, because your body is suddenly fluctuating from a very warm temperature to a cool temperature.
To a cold temperature.
Yeah, so obviously, that shows how vulnerable your body is, and of course, for a virus like the coronavirus to start acting upon such a body, compromising the immunity, and starting to replicate itself, and showing the symptoms would happen even faster. So I think there were a few cases which I liked. Very sad for such people, but they were specifically gym goers. I think Generation Iron covered this one person a 70-odd-year-old gym goer who was very stubborn about going to the gym in this situation.
Yeah.
Sadly, the gentleman lost his life, and I think another 39-year-old lady who goes to the gym very avidly. So I understand like a lot of people are saying, you want to go to the gym, you want to work out. I feel bad that you guys are missing out on it, but right now the wise thing to do is to have a setup at home. Also, we are getting a lot of questions from a lot of people. So Calvin here wants to know what are the recommended dosages for multivitamins for young women. So is a multivitamin something that you think we should recommend at this point of time? I mean, I'm not a big believer in multivitamins, if I'm honest.
Yeah, multivitamin is a very good thing, but sadly, because not all multivitamins are meets your RDA definitely. So it's like very few companies do that, and if you're going to have it, like make sure that you spend a good amount of money in investing in a multivitamin. Definitely, a multivitamin is going to help at this point of time.
Right.
Make sure that it has all the RDA requirements, because when you start reviewing ingredients, make sure that all the RDA requirements of all the vitamins are at least 100% to about 200%. Once you do that, you know that you are in a good multivitamin. And multivitamin is not dose dependent at all, because like most of the multivitamins are water soluble. So if you're going to take in itself, it's going to be like you're going to piss it out. So there's no need to worry about any dosage of multivitamins, because it's all the same. So there's nothing to worry about it. So there's no particular dose.
Right. I think Snigdha also, she's, I know her personally. She's written a question saying, how long do you think it's going to last? Any approximate time frame that we can anticipate?
Yeah, because it's going to take a long time to be like, to be honest with you, because stage 1 is done in India. Stage 2 is right now on procedure. And like, believe me, stage 2 is nothing. Like for the next 14 days, if we are doing what the government says to be in complete quarantine without coming out, we can escape the stage 3. Otherwise, once we enter stage 3 in April 5th to April 10th, like things are going to be very devastating. Like you can see cases in lakhs. That's the magnitude, because right now in UK we are in stage 3 at the moment.
Right.
And the cases and the total number of cases in UK is around 3,800. So that in India, if you compare it with the Indian population, that's around 3 lakh people.
Right.
So that's going to be hard. Like if you are not if you are going to be the same, if you are not very conscious about it, like things are going to be quite devastating, and it's going to take a very long time to come out of this.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to even Snigdha's question again, I've been very pessimistic about this whole thing, and which is why, I mean, even before our Prime Minister could announce the curfew and whatnot, I realized that I need to get some equipments at home, because I definitely need to train at home, and maybe going forward, I might even need to continue training my clients at home itself, because I don't think the situation is going to dial down within a matter of another 1 or 2 weeks. I think it could be a matter of months. Maybe, I mean, of course, the economic hit is going to be pretty big. I mean, there is a gentleman I follow on my Facebook called Mr. Rehan Jalali. Rehan is the guy who is the nutritionist to people like Ben Affleck, Sylvester Stallone, and people like that. So he's a pretty accomplished sports nutritionist himself. So even he was saying that, this situation is not going to stabilize anytime before September, and he stays in LA. So I think, we have to use common sense. I mean, look what happened to China. China is the world's biggest population, and even with all the, it's a communist country, and with all the control that they exercise, it still became a pretty bad situation there. I think, we are perhaps maybe 4 months, maybe 4 weeks or 6 weeks, behind what is happening in China. And we are the second largest population in the world, and we cannot be controlled as much as Chinese. I mean, in China, if they tell you to stay home, you have to stay home. But it's not going to be the same situation over here with I mean, Modi ji obviously promoted social distancing among all of us, but having said that, his UP guys are going to go ahead with the Ayodhya gathering, and in Chennai a few days ago there was this protest against the Citizenship Act. I
Defensive
actually,
practice.
for a change, I just decided to take a drive today in my car. I just went out just to see what's happening. Of course, I
Mm-hmm.
had my windows up and everything, but I just wanted to see what's going on. And you know, people in Bangalore are pretending, even on a Saturday. I mean, there are traffic jams, and people are just behaving like that. It's not a big deal.
Nothing
And
is happening. Yeah.
so I think, we are behaving in a very apathetic manner. We are behaving like, as a country that nothing's going to happen. And I think we're going to
Happening.
pay a very, very big price. And
Big
I'm
price.
very sure that our hospitals are going to be overwhelmed, although the government is preparing for it.
Yeah.
But I think the people in general are just not realizing. So it's going to become worse than I think what happened in Iran and Italy, and maybe
Yeah.
even in the US. So who knows?
Yeah, definitely, because in Italy, the cases today, like the number of cases who are dead today are around 4,050
Right,
cases,
right.
and Iran is growing in a rate that it will surpass Italy in the next couple of days. So Iran, like the number of deaths in Iran, and they expect they expect crazy amount of they expect a crazy number of cases in India. Like all the epidemiologists, all the because from whatever the picture they say, the satellite picture from NASA in the morning, like how many people are there in the roads and what is the pollution rate. They say that in India, not even 10% of the population which are on the roads have reduced.
Right, right.
Not even 10%. That is pathetic. And I don't know, like people are still not understanding the seriousness of the condition because because in all Indian homes there are at least a couple of people who are over 60, and you don't want to risk their life at all, because the people who are over 60, 4 out of 12 cases die in UK, in a place where the healthcare is the uttermost, like it's a pinnacle, it's the best in the world, and here they lose 4 patients out of 12 old patients. So I don't know
Right.
how India is going to cope up with it. I'm even I'm very worried because my father is a doctor there, and he has shut down the hospital totally. He said he's not seeing any patients. And that's how a doctor reacts to corona, leaving all his work. He's sitting at home. General population, I don't know why they are still going out. There's no
I
reason for
mean,
them.
it's like anything else. I think they just don't understand the seriousness of the situation. I
Yeah.
mean, there are some people who have obviously gone to another extreme, especially some apartment complexes and all, which are usually run by fairly educated folks. So, they have put all the apartments on lockdowns to the point where they are not even allowing outside deliveries. They're not allowing their mates from outside to come into this thing. But then, you go outside and you see there are, I think maybe 30% of the population has realized how serious this is.
How serious this is.
People who watch the news regularly, people who
Yeah.
understand the importance of social distancing and whatnot. But I think the remaining 70% don't care. And I think
Don't care.
sadly, we are going to all suffer together because of that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty sad.
That,
So one of the more questions that I had also remembered I had put across to you sometime back was, I mean, okay, so being at home, what are the precautions that people can take? I mean, of course, washing hands and using a sanitizer, and these are the few instructions that are given. But obviously, to an extent, when you're at home all the time, you don't get the appropriate amount of sunlight. Your
Yeah.
physical activity is not going to be the way it was
Yeah.
before when you would go outside. So
Yep.
being at home, what kind of a lifestyle, what kind of, day-to-day precautions would you advise?
First of all, the most important thing is that be conscious about what you eat. That is the most that is the best thing I can do. Stop eating processed food at all altogether, because it's going to raise your inflammation, and once your inflammation is up, your immunity is going to go down and you're susceptible for infection. That's a whole cycle. So stop eating processed foods at all. Try taking in a lot of vegetables, fruits, and start tightening your diet up. If you're a vegetarian, go in for a lot of vegetable fruits, and if you're a non-vegetarian, like I'll say, cut down on your carbs a lot and your calories, because you're not going to move a lot. You're not going to do anything. The best thing you can do is cutting down on your calories, like through carbs, and have a good amount of healthy fat and protein. So that's the best that can be done. And for sunlight, vitamin D, supplementing with vitamin D is more ideal, because like you can take a walk around, but our people don't stop with taking a walk around. Then they'll have a conversation with them. Then they start then they start shaking hands, then they go for a cup of coffee. So that's something that could be a vicious cycle. Then you're at home, like sit near the windows to get the sunlight going, and otherwise supplement with vitamin D. That should be fine because supplementing with the 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D is not going to hurt at all.
Right.
In any.
Yeah, I mean, obviously vitamin D, good amounts of vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc.
Yeah.
Then a lot of natural antioxidants in the form of lime juice, pomegranate juice, lots of green vegetables, good amounts of PUFA and MUFA, fat sources. Those will obviously help to a great extent. So Ram, you are actually in the UK. I think many of our viewers may or may not know that. Ram is actually based in the UK. He's not in India, even though Ram obviously is Indian. That we all know. So how is the situation over there, Ram? I mean, you are in the thick and thin of things. I think you live very close to London, right?
Yeah, I live very close to London. The thing is that London is totally shut down from yesterday night. Yesterday evening, London was totally shut down. No pubs, no clubs, because you can't prevent any English club without having a beer on Saturday and Sunday. And still they totally restrict themselves from going out. Literally, there is no one in the road. Nobody, like no one, for the past 2 weeks, I haven't seen one person shaking hand with another. It's always elbowing, or they just say hi from there. So it's so like, because people are so precautious. They're not just the government. The government is doing so much for the people, and people are also reciprocating in the way that they should, because they understand that it's for their own good. And alarming, the smoking rate in UK are high. So people with predisposed lung conditions are very high in UK. Like if you are if you're having a predisposing lung condition, which is like COPD or asthma or pneumonia, I'm very sorry to say that coronavirus, you're very susceptible to coronavirus. So smokers should always be they should be at least try reducing your smoking, try reducing your cigarettes at least in this period, because it's not just going to affect you alone. It's going to affect the person next to you, your family, and your dear ones. Once you are affected, it can affect anybody else. So you need to control that, and people have done that here beautifully, because I've not seen one person smoking in the street for so that's wonderful, because people reciprocate here. That's people are aware, people know that's for their own good, and people do that. So that's the situation here, and no one is going out. People are all locked up indoors, and even the government is helping out the people. They are paying nearly 80% of their income every month for the persons who have lost all their jobs because of who work in pubs, clubs, who have closed down. They're paying 80% of the income. So that's how supportive the government is. Our government is also, because you can't expect that from our government, because our population is very large, very huge, and at the same time, but our government is doing the best they can do to control the population, because ours is a developing country. So they are doing their best. All it's our responsibility from now on, because we should be more responsible for each other.
Right. Exactly. So I think, it's very easy for right now to, make this whole discussion political by a lot of people have been comparing what the Canadian Prime Minister has had to say for his country, what the Singapore Prime Minister has had to say, and what our Prime Minister is saying. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is something where, only you and you alone can control your situation. And if you just take the necessary precautions, do your bit. And, of course, it doesn't help when you're reading the news and you're reading all these news articles and, seeing what people are doing outside. I mean, you've got to lead by example, So if you have help or somebody coming at home, you've got to educate them and tell them what precautions they need to exercise. You need to tell your near and dear loved ones. I mean, for example, my client, Vishwajit, he still could go to the gym. He actually manages a gym in Calcutta. And he could actually still go to the gym in Calcutta and use it. And then finally, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, I finally told him that, hey, look, you've got to stop now, because
Okay.
in Calcutta, actually, the situation became pretty serious. Where I think on Monday, after the circular came out, where the gyms were asked to be closed, a lot of gym owners there wanted to meet, I think, with the health minister.
Okay.
And there's a gentleman called Mr. Gagan Sachdev, who organized first this meeting. And a lot of gyms, for example, there is a gentleman called Mr. Vineet Baptist. So Vineet and many other gym owners consciously took the decision to keep their gyms closed, although they have to pay rent, they have to pay salaries and whatnot. But there were a few other gyms which decided to remain open because they were just scared of the losses they're going to make. But the thing is, I was just also reading another news clip today where it said that apparently Shahid Kapoor, a celebrity by himself,
Okay.
he convinced some gym in Bombay to be opened. And when the police found out, now they have sealed the gym. So, you don't want
That's
to take those
terrible.
chances. You don't
Yeah,
want to
you
take
don't
those
want to.
chances. So hopefully, people come out of that short-term thinking that, oh my God, I have things to do. And yeah, we all our businesses going to suffer.
Yeah.
3/4 of my income comes from personal training. And, I'm not able to train any clients right now. And I know that it's going to be a huge loss.
Yes. Yep.
But, until the situation is completely stabilized, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to train my clients.
Yeah.
And, it is how it is. But that is why you save for a rainy day, because,
That's
that is why you need to be,
you need to.
be responsible with your money. You need to be careful. So, I think few points that you mentioned, few of the points that, you mentioned, especially with respect to the gym and all that, is pretty good. Anything else you want to highlight on? Because, this is a huge discussion. We can go on and on
Yeah.
about it. But any particular points that you particularly wanted our viewers to, take, any takers that you want them to take from the whole discussion so that they can implement it themselves?
Yeah, I can like just a couple of points, because mainly one is mainly with personal hygiene. Like if you're going to like if you're having any symptoms, that is a running nose, a dry throat, a cough, please don't be alarmed, because it can be anything. It can be anything. So don't be alarmed. Nothing like like if people say that India is a hot country and you might not get corona, like nothing like that, because there's no temperature. There is no temperature relation with corona. Corona can survive anywhere, and it can mutate very fast. So there's nothing relation, and you can eat a good amount of chicken, fish, and whatever you want. Because corona doesn't spread by meat, so don't worry about that. And if you are sick and if you have any symptoms, please restrict yourself from going out and meeting people. And please stay indoors like for 14 days. And if it's still going to get worse, then go to the hospital. Please don't rush yourself to the hospital. There are much more important. There are much more people who have severe symptoms waiting there on the line. So don't try to cut through. And don't try to use an influence now, because I know influence is a big word in India, because people try to cut their lanes. People try to cut their lines and everywhere. So don't do that. Be more responsible. Think about others, and that's all. That's all I can say. Wash your hands
Right.
for 20 seconds.
No, I think, to be very honest, if I have to gauge the situation, especially for the fitness industry, once this situation stabilizes, the amount of, business that people are going to get, especially the health industry and fitness industry guys, is going to be huge, right? And, okay, so so we are getting a lot of questions actually. So Archana, I think, has been answering a few. So this lady here, Banapriya, is asking, what do you consider as critical symptoms?
The critical symptoms are symptoms only if you have existing lung conditions. That's why you see a lot of critical symptoms like coughing out, severe coughs, like sometimes blood strained also because of rupture of any minor blood vessels due to excessive coughing. Like pneumonia is a condition where your lungs just swell up, and they are not in a capacity to pump anymore, because the lungs needs to pump in and pump out. They just like a pump. So if the lungs are not going to pump out anymore, like if you have pneumonia and something like that, they are not going to pump. And if corona on top of it, it's going to make the condition worse. And the main reason why people die of respiratory failure is because they drown in their own inflammatory fluid, which is caused by, because of corona causes inflammation in your body. Inflammation in turn causes a lot of fluid in your lungs, and then you drown in your own inflammatory fluid. So chronic cough, like cough with blood, or something like your respiratory, like finding it difficult to breathe without an oxygen mask. These are the most critical symptoms you need to be worried about. But most of the people are alarmed and they reach the stage before that. So there are no critical symptoms at the moment. But cough lasting more, any cough or flu or temperature lasting more than 14 days, you need to be worried about it. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I've also noticed from the videos that I have watched so far is that everybody is really finding it difficult to breathe. I think even in Italy that they have had to sometimes share a ventilator with as many as 4 people.
As many as 4 people.
So it's pretty scary. Beast Unleashed wants to say, he says it can lead to pneumonia and kidney failure. So is kidney failure another severe calamity of this issue? I mean, under the body?
No, it's not just kidney failure. You like once your lung collapses, your heart collapses. It's just a sequence where your
right. It's a chain reaction basically.
It's called as MODS, or multi-organ dysfunctional syndrome.
Right.
So your respiratory system goes, your cardiology goes, your nephrology. So it's just a cycle. So like you don't get enough oxygen and you don't get enough blood supply. So naturally all the organs are going to be affected. So don't worry, like it happens.
Again, Banapriya is asking, what are the initial symptoms?
Initial symptoms are the same: fever, common cold, dry throat, something like that. But yeah, just wait for the 14 days. 14 days is where your virus either gets thrown out by your body, or your body surrenders to it. That's how simple I can explain it. Once if it's surrendered, then you need to rush to the hospital. Otherwise, you are lucky enough, you can get tired.
Right. No, I think what people just, whoever is watching this today, just to, make this simpler, it's just a really bad form of the cold that you can have, So if you've had a cold, like a really bad cold, which might take 7-10 days to be fully, treated, you can just imagine getting that sort of a cold. That's what the coronavirus symptoms could feel like. And it can further get exaggerated if you have any kind of clinical condition, if your immunity is compromised in any way, or if you are a smoker, or if you drink a lot. So if your body is already under a lot of stress, then that could further get exaggerated. The symptoms could be even worse. You just have to use your imagination and, really pray to God that you or none of your loved ones go through it, because it's horrible. It's 10 times worse than, what a normal cold is like.
It's the worst thing you can imagine, because my God, people are gasping. I've seen videos where people just gasp for death. Like they want death. They want death. They say that's better than that. That's better than living on a ventilator, because living on ventilator is not fun at all.
Right. No, I have personal experience. I have seen my own mom in the ventilator, a few days before she passed away. So, moments before she passed away, rather. So I mean, I have seen it myself. It's not a pretty sight, and you don't want people to go through that. But again, I mean, I hope, because of the apathetic attitude that people have, we really don't know what's going to happen, how bad the situation is going to be. Indians just have this, I don't know, this blind confidence on themselves that we are going to have this crazy immunity and whatnot, and we'll survive this.
Yeah. They think they are invisible to the disease. The problem is that they are not. That is the only problem. Once you realize that, everything should be fine, because whatever they are doing, it's only for their own good. It's not a favor for anybody, or it's nothing like that, nothing of that sort.
Right.
So if they're going to get through this, everything is going to be fine after that.
I think Miss Karmali Bornali, I think she's asking, what are the foods that we consider for improving our immunity?
Yeah, that's all. Fresh foods, no processed foods. That's what. Like whatever you're going to eat it fresh. Don't take any canned foods or cereals. Not even cereals. Don't try avoiding everything. Just take fresh ingredients, cook it every day, and eat and finish it every day. That's as simple as. There is nothing like to improve your immunity or not. Like there are supplements which can help you, but there is no proven studies that it's going to help in this condition at all. So like you can use a good multivitamin, like look, zinc lozenges help, but I don't know up to what extent it helps really. And like without dehydrating yourself, load on some electrolytes. Then you will be fine, and a lot of vitamin C will bring down your inflammation. Like the main people who should be worried about this are pregnant women in the last trimester. I feel so sorry for the pregnant women like in India and around the world at the moment, because that's going to be a huge stress for them. Like my wife was just pregnant a month ago and she just gave birth.
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that way, because she like we like my son, like my kid was born just before this crisis, just a week before this crisis.
Right.
So I'm lucky in that way. So I like they need to be more careful. They should isolate themselves even from their own husband. They should isolate from themselves, because it's not just one life; it's two. So they need to be more conscious and be feel more confident about it. That's it.
Right. No, I think a couple of things which I can read from. I mean, if everybody has questions, please post it over here in the comment section. We can read them. And by the way, you guys must be wondering, why is Archana answering all these questions? Archana happens to be Dr. Ram's wife, and she's a doctor herself. So, I think because we are busy discussing, she's taken it up to answer these questions. So thanks, Archana. Also, I think, as far as the treatment itself is concerned, what people have to understand is there are some treatments at present. I mean, from what I understand, some doctors in the north in India have experimented with certain antiretroviral drugs which work very well for HIV patients. So those have shown some promising this thing. But actually, even if a vaccine is developed, it's going to take us months. It's going to take us months to put it in place, and months in a medical sense, months, because I'm a pharmacist myself, right? So we study all these things, and months is actually a very short time period to put something into a human body, because clinical trials typically take 4 to 5 years before it reaches approval stage, and then it is manufactured, distributed, and then made it available. So I mean, there has been a lot of groundbreaking research in many diseases, like in cancer and in HIV and whatnot. But one of the reasons why you hear about them and you don't see anything in your local medical store or hospital is because the clinical studies have still not been completed. So even if we come up with something which is a vaccine, we have to be very careful administering it, because even if it is a matter of few months, we still have to be careful that it doesn't lead to some other issues going forward. So that's how scary the situation is, and that's how much time it's going to take. So until then, we might be just able to experiment with certain medications which will just perhaps suppress the symptoms, and just pray to God that the human body itself is able to fight it, which is why it is important for us to maintain our immunity. Because if you have a healthy immunity, and if you get this virus, even with whatever you might administer to suppress the fever or the cold or the pneumonia or whatever, but it is your own immunity that is end of the day going to fight it. So the healthy diet and the healthy lifestyle is going to support that. So it's just to make sure that you can actually stay alive in this situation. And other than that, I mean, certain medications and all are going to be experimented with at this point, but there is not going to be any definitive treatment for at least a few more months.
There's nothing there, literally nothing, because the US has just started experimenting with all those retrovirals. But before that, Indian doctors have already done that. So we are very proud to have doctors like that, because they have already surpassed the US, the research and development team, and they have already done that. And they had very minimal success. Very minimal success. Like it's not proven in any way. So like it might do more harm and more harm than good also, if you're going to take it as a precaution. So don't like no one is advised here to take any medications without consulting a doctor or nothing. But be safe. That's all we can do, because be safe, and we are lucky like we can get through this.
My request to the viewers is very simple. I mean, if you guys happen to have any symptoms of cold or fever, just treat it like a normal fever or cold. I mean, remember, even for the common cold, there is no proper treatment.
There is no there's no treatment at all.
Exactly. So, you can only suppress the symptoms. So if you have congestion, you can take a decongestant, like a cough syrup or something to ease your breathing. If you have fever, you can take paracetamol or other, antipyretics to bring down your temperature. But end of the day, the body is what is going to fight the cold, even if it is just a common cold. So if you guys land up getting symptoms, just treat it like any other cold. And only if the situation becomes very serious, go and get yourself tested. And of
Just
course,
it.
wear a mask, so that you don't spread it. Even if it is a normal cold, just don't
Yeah,
spread it.
just wear a mask. Yeah, just don't
Yeah.
spread it. And at the same time, please don't. Please, I see in families they share like a tiger balm. The people share it between persons to persons. At this moment, if you're going to share it,
Oh,
it's not
yes.
going to be it's good. It's not going to be a right idea because you're going to put it over the nose, put it over the head, and you don't want to do that at all. The only way of coronavirus entering your body is through mucus. That is your mouth, the oral mucus and the nasal mucus. So be careful that you don't touch your face at all, and be conscious. Don't do it. And whatever you see, like the best tip I can give you is do start doing things with your with your with the hand which is not dominant, like the use start using the doorknobs with your left hand, so that you touch a lot of things with the left hand, and by habit you touch your hand, you touch your face with the right hand. You don't always do it with your non-dominant hand. So and that's one tip you can use to prevent touching your face, because don't share your medicines. If you have nasal congestion, don't share your nasal decongestant with your family members. Don't do anything of that sort. That's one
Right,
tip I
right,
wanted to put in. I just wanted to add on.
right, right. All right, guys. I mean, so I think, the discussion is something that we can go on and on having, and there are a million things to talk about. If you guys have any more questions, we'll be here till for another 7 minutes till 9 o'clock exactly before we wrap things up. Ram, after all, is a father, so he does need to go back to his son.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. So I mean, if you guys have any more questions, do bring it to our notice. We will try answering it right now. But yeah, just to continue this discussion, I think people in general just need to stop panicking, and
Yeah.
they just need to treat this entire situation like any other health hazard that can happen to them at any point of time.
Yeah, definitely.
And also you need to understand that it is now proven that it is not just something that can affect older people and younger children very badly. I mean, of course, they are very susceptible, but
Yeah.
it is, in fact, the millennials also can suffer quite a bit. So don't take your health for granted just because you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40s.
Yeah, that's one thing, and there's one good thing, because in recent studies, people have shown that infants are not very much affected. That is, children with less than from 0 to 9 years. There is not one case reported anywhere in the world. So it's not a bonus. I'm not saying that that you should be free. You should not be careful with your kids, but you need not worry about them as much as you worry about yourselves or the elders in the house. Because elders in the house, it's very worry. It's like about 60, nearly two to 3 out of 12 people die. So that's very powerful. And above 40, 2 out of 12 people die, and about 40, 1 in 12. So that's the ratio which WHO has studied, and it's updated just today morning. So that's one thing. In China, the total number of deaths are around 3,600. But that is not very reliable, because Chinese, they don't give us the proper information all the time at all. So it's expected, they have expected around 20,000 deaths and not one infant in that. So that's pretty convincing in that way.
I just want to quickly address here. B. Sternlich is saying that the virus tends to die at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius or more.
No. Definitely they don't do that, because the virus has a lipid layer, that is a fat. So the higher the temperature, the lipid layer, it mutates very, very, very fast, because it's still in mutation. That is one reason why there is no particular vaccine for it. If there is a vaccine for it, if it has a particular form, you can find a vaccine for it very easily. It mutates every day, and it improves itself by every day. So it's a very clever it's a very clever virus. So can't be temperature is too easy for it. Can easily combat it.
Right. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell a lot of people, that the virus itself has not stopped mutating. So it is still adapting. It is going to people with different body type, different races, different temperatures. So viruses are very good at adapting. I mean, many people may not realize this. I mean, we talk about and we read about the bubonic plague that happened so many decades ago, but it still happens to a lot of people. It's just that you have to understand that diseases like the Ebola, the bubonic plague, and Spanish flu, it doesn't spread as quickly as it used to So that is
Yeah.
why these diseases are so much under control.
Control.
But the coronavirus is just something, whether it is, it is of course derived from nature, we know that. But the coronavirus is just something that is, because at the rate at which it is spreading, that is the scary part.
That is
It's
the
something
scary part.
else. I mean, look, we can, all of us, I think, to conclude, we have 4 more minutes to go. I think, no, please, higher temperature doesn't make the virus more strong. What Ram is trying to tell you is that the virus itself is not affected if the temperature is high. Do not interpret one thing to another. Okay, doesn't make it strong, but doesn't make it weak either. What Ram is trying to say is that it can tolerate high temperatures. So
It
even
can
if you
tolerate
live in
high
a place
temperature.
which is 25 degrees and higher, it can still spread. But coming back to what I was trying to say to just conclude this discussion, and you can also say your parting statements, Ram. Look, when the SARS happened, that is the H1N1 happened, a lot of deaths happened in the US and many other countries, and we did not have a reaction like this, right? So you have to understand that the problem with the coronavirus is it's spreading faster than the H1N1 virus. So even if the mortality is only 1% or 2%, if you think about it, if there are 8 billion people on this planet, right? And if the death toll is even 2%,
2%.
that is close to what? Close to, I think, what? Close to 2 million people at least?
Yeah, 2 million people.
Yeah. I mean, if my maths is, I mean, I'm not very good at mathematics, but if my maths is right, 2 million people is what we are looking at if this disease or this virus manages to grasp every single human being on this planet. And I think if we just look at what happened in China, and also if you look at the mortality rate in Italy and the US, I think those numbers will give you a more accurate assessment of how dangerous this disease is. It's just the way in which it is spreading, which is the scary part. That's all. So I think that's why social distancing has become of more importance in this particular crisis than at any other time, because we are just trying to contain the virus from spreading so that our hospitals, our healthcare centers are not overwhelmed with too many patients. And, there aren't people left out there to die, like how in Italy, they had to leave people who were 80 and above to die because, they had to prioritize the younger population. So you just don't want that situation to come in India. And it's a very possible situation in India. I mean, Italy has pretty good health infrastructure and they don't have that much of a population. And yet they have suffered like that. I mean, so just imagine what's going to happen in India.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. So any parting statements, Ram, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think because we have covered most of the good things about what to do and all those, and most of it. The only thing which I'm going to share, I'm going to say here, is that don't believe all the WhatsApp pop-ups here and there, because people keep pushing on forwards here and then. Nearly 99% of it is nothing. It's it has no value and it has zero value because it misdirects people. That is one important thing why people are very complacent in India, because they think that the temperature helps. That as the temperature goes up, the virus dies. The virus mutates very beautifully as the temperature goes up, and it still continues to thrive. Even in minus 25 degrees, there are studies which say that it can survive also. So there is nothing that's like that. Garlic, it helps. Nothing like that too. So stop believing all the WhatsApp statements, and just do simple things like clean your be clean. Use a napkin if you're having a cough into it. Be more responsible about yourself and others. Be responsible for yourself first, because you should be you should be confident about yourself, and you should take care of yourself first before taking care of your next person. So once you do that, you can prevent it from spreading to others. So it's not a situation where you're going to help others. You're going to help yourself and then keep yourself healthy, and then help. In that case, you prevent the chain. Once prevention is done, everything will be fine, hopefully.
Right. I think that's about it, guys. I mean, we've got a lot of comments here today, a lot of good questions. Again, thanks, Archana, for, answering these questions. And thank you, Devjit, for suggesting that we do this collaboration video.
Thank you.
For all of you that you don't know, Ram and I, know each other for the last 5 years. He had come to me when he had just finished his MBBS, and he wanted to do a competition. And me and another gentleman, trainer in Chennai, took about 2 years to get him ready. And he used to be a men's physique athlete.
Yeah.
So, Ram is not just somebody who is just talking out of his ass. He's actually somebody who has done the whole bodybuilding grind, stepped on stage, prepped an amazing physique for himself with a lot of hard work. And I've been very blessed to be a part of his journey. And today he's in the UK doing his postgrad. He's a father now, he's married. So, I think I should have said married before being a father. He got married first. Okay. So, so this was, this has been an amazing journey for Ram. And, you guys should follow him on Metabolic Muscle Docs. He has this amazing page where he puts out this amazing information on different aspects of nutrition and whatnot. So you guys can definitely check it out. And yeah, keep up to date with us with anything to do with the coronavirus and health in general. Ram and I, through our individual Instagram pages, are going to try to give out as much information as we can about nutrition, training, and whatnot. So thanks, guys. Thank you for watching our videos and watching this live session. DM us your questions and, stay alive.
Yeah. And thank you.
Ram, I think your internet is pretty slow on your end, or maybe you've gone too far away from the router. Your video is framing. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I think Ram's Wi-Fi is a little, the network is bandwidth is a little bad, I think. Archana, can you tell Ram that he needs to, get closer to the router, or maybe go to a place where he has better network? His video is completely frozen. Funny, Banapriya. You've been cracking a lot of jokes today on our comment section, haven't you? Yeah, it's a little better. It's still framing though. I think you need to be closer to the router. Now it's better. Now it's better. Yeah, we have you back. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everyone. Like Arun sir, because I mentioned him as a sir because he's my first teacher, and he's the person who had pushed me because I wanted to be, and like I wanted to, once I finished medicine, I had no idea what to do. So he pushed me into going to UK, pursue my sports medicine. So like I'm very proud to be associated with Arun sir here. And like even my new venture, my Metabolic Muscle Doc, is because like Arun, you pushed me there, right? You pushed me, and I should thank Debijit here like a lot because I think he arranged everything for us. So I'm very happy and thankful to Debijit and here. So everything is going good. So, and like all your questions will be answered through Metabolic Muscle Doc and Arun sir's personal account. So you can put it down there, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. Thank you. And we hope to see you guys, all you guys in the other side once everything is settled down and done. Like I'm expecting everything to end it in a very smooth fashion. And see, good luck, guys.
Yes, let's hope for the best. Yeah. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care, Ram. Take care of your family. Be in touch.
Thank you. It's the same here. Take care.
All right. Cheers.